The slap echoed harder than it should have. Not because it was loud, but because of where it landed, across Selene's face. Not literal, not physical, but in the way Bram looked at her when Coach Liren paired them up. Like she was furniture. Like she didn't matter. Selene nodded once. Said nothing. Walked onto the mat. Bram chuckled. This won't take long. Coach didn't correct him. Nobody did. Half the students weren't watching. The other half were pretending not to. You could hear water bottles snapping open. The squeak of bare feet on vinyl. Selene tied her belt, plain white borrowed, slow, careful. Bram bounced on his heels like he'd already won. Coach clapped. Ready. They bumped fists. Slapped hands. Then Selene moved. Not fast. Not showy. Just precise. Bram reached. Selene ducked. Her grip locked around his sleeve before he realized what was happening. He shifted his weight wrong. She didn't. He fell. Hard. The room snapped awake. Not loud. Just one breath held by everyone. She didn't celebrate. She didn't smirk. She passed his guard like it was routine. Mounted. Cross-collar grip. Bram flailed. She adjusted. Tighter. Tap. 10 seconds. Maybe less. Selene let go instantly. Rolled off. Sat back on her heels like nothing happened. Bram lay flat, blinking at the ceiling. He said something, but no one heard. Coach's voice cut across the room. Next round. Selene stood. No sweat. No sigh. Just ready. Then the inconsistencies began. Someone whispered. She said she was new. Another. That grip was textbook. Not beginner textbook. Coach narrowed his eyes, but didn't say anything. Yet. The next student to step forward was Nico. Younger, faster, wild with energy. Let's go, he said, grinning. Selene nodded. They slapped hands. It started again. This time Nico came in aggressive. Tried to overwhelm. Selene let him rush. Waited. Absorbed. Then reversed. Arm drag. Sweep. Side control. Tap. A minute. Maybe less. Nico laughed nervously. Damn. You're sneaky. Selene only bowed her head. Coach watched closer now. His clipboard forgotten. Another student tried. Then another. None lasted. But Selene wasn't crushing them. She flowed. Measured. Every movement efficient. Calm. No waste. No panic. No explanation. That's what rattled them. It didn't make sense. Where'd she say she was from again? Becca asked, voice low. Didn't, Eli replied. Becca stared at Selene like she was a puzzle missing corners. No stripes. No ego. But she moves like. She didn't finish the sentence. The twist came when Bram returned. Still flushed. Still fuming. She got lucky, he muttered. Coach raised an eyebrow. You sure? Run it back, Bram snapped. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Selene didn't hesitate. She stepped forward. Quiet. Ready. Everyone watched this time. Coach gave the nod. Bram came in harder. Sloppier. Angry. Selene sidestepped. Grabbed a single leg. Switched grips mid-motion. Tripped him backward. Controlled the fall. He tried to scramble. She spun. Took his back. Rear naked choke. Tap. This time, he tapped with both hands. Hard. Selene released instantly. Backed off. Bram sat there. Breathing heavy. Red-faced. He didn't look at her. Becca muttered, "That's not luck." Coach crossed his arms. "Where'd you train, Selene?" She met his eyes. Paused. Then, South Interior. For years. Where exactly? Maragua. Silence. Maragua wasn't a city people dropped casually. Everyone knew what that meant. Maragua meant you trained under the old schools. The deep roots. Not the flashy city gyms. Not the commercial stuff. Real ground. Coach's jaw tightened. Who? Selene hesitated. Kelve. You could feel the ripple. That name didn't need explanation. Someone dropped their water bottle. No one laughed. Wait, Nico said. You trained with Calvez? In Maragua? Selene nodded. Then you're. She cut him off, soft voice. Black belt. The room froze. Coach blinked. You've been wearing white this whole time. I didn't come here to wear anything, she said. Just to train. Another pause. Heavy. Coach studied her like she'd turned into something else entirely. You should have said something. She shook her head. Wouldn't have mattered. You already decided. A truth too sharp to argue with. Nobody moved. Then slowly Becca stepped forward. Roll with me? Selene gave a single nod. They matched up. This one lasted longer. Becca was sharp, experienced, defensive. Selene respected her rhythm. Didn't rush. Let Becca try her angles. Then reversed. Collar drag. Mount. Transition to back. Tap. No resistance. No grudge. Just technique. Becca sat up after and looked at her. You're the real thing. Selene finally smiled. Small. Brief. I just didn't want to be the loudest in the room. Coach walked over. You're not, but you might be the clearest. People nodded. Even Bram, still sitting on the edge of the mat, looked down. Said nothing. By the end of class, Selene had rolled with most of them. Nobody beat her. Nobody even came close. And she never raised her voice. Never made a speech. She folded her belt quietly, packed her bag. As she walked past Bram, he stood awkwardly. Hey, he said. She turned. I was out of line. She didn't rush to forgive. You were, she agreed. Then she left. No drama. No exit line. Just the sound of the mat behind her and her sandals slapping lightly as she crossed the threshold. Outside, the sky was the color of cooled steel. She walked to her car, unlocked it, sat. Didn't start the engine. Her phone buzzed once. A text from Kaysen. You bringing food or should I do eggs? She smiled. Be there soon, she replied. The night didn't feel heavy. Just still. Back at home, Kaysen sat at the table, earbuds dangling, toast in his hand. You good? He asked. Selene nodded. Yeah. You roll? She smirked. A few. He grinned. Bet they didn't see you coming. She shrugged. Wasn't the point. Dinner was quiet. Eggs. Toast. Nothing special. Later in her room, Selene sat on the floor and opened an old box. Inside, a faded black belt. Frayed. Soft from years of sweat and repetition. She touched it gently. Didn't pull it out. Not yet. She thought about Calvez. About the first time he told her, don't raise your hands to prove something. Raise your level. She thought about Bram. About how some men only hear truth when they're pinned to it. Then she closed the box. Slid it back under the bed. The next morning, she texted Coach. If you ever need help with Monday sessions, I'm around. His reply came fast. Absolutely. Let's talk tonight. Selene stood, stretched, tied her hair back. Looked in the mirror. Just a woman in a plain t-shirt. Steady eyes. Calm. And then the knock came. Not on her bedroom door. On the front door. Hard. Repeated. Kaysen called out, Mom. Selene walked out into the hall. Opened the front door. A man stood there. Tall. Broad. Worn coat. Scar down his right cheek. He didn't smile. You're Selene Marin? She didn't answer. His voice lowered. You trained in Maragua, right? Under Calvez? Still silence. Then we need to talk. Someone's been asking about you. And not nicely. The wind outside picked up. The door creaked in her hand. Selene didn't move. But her eyes sharpened. Cut to black. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything. But it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Selene didn't speak. She just stared. The man at her door didn't blink. The scar down his cheek shifted when he talked. His voice was dry, clipped. They sent me first. To warn you. Kaysen stepped into the hall behind her. Mom. She raised a hand without turning. A silent command. Stay back. The man shifted his weight. They know who you are now. What you did in Maragua. Someone's stirring it up. Selene's voice was low. Who sent you? Old circle. Tears that folded when Calvez died. The ones who didn't stay quiet. He reached into his coat slowly, carefully. Selene's stance tightened. He stopped, held up his hands. Just paper. He pulled out a folded envelope. No logo, no markings. Just thick, yellowed parchment. He held it out. She didn't take it. Why now? She asked. Because they didn't expect you to surface again. And definitely not here. Not in a gym that still writes names with Sharpe. Selene said nothing. Kaysen asked, Mom, what's going on? She closed the door halfway. Get your stuff. School. But? Now. He hesitated. Looked between them. Then disappeared down the hall. Selene opened the door again. Took the envelope. What's in here? The man's eyes dropped. A name. Someone close. Closer than you think. Selene opened the flap. One word. One name. Liren. The coach. Her hand tightened. The man's voice dipped lower. He trained under Calvez too. Quietly. Off the books. But when the split came, he stayed with the faction that turned. That doesn't make sense, Selene said. It will. Soon. He stepped back. They'll come. More direct than me. Then he walked away. No car. No motorcycle. Just disappeared down the block like he'd always been part of the neighborhood. Selene closed the door. The envelope felt hot in her hands. Her mind moved fast. Liren. The same coach who watched her like a stranger. Who never asked the right questions. Who accepted her silence a little too easily. Selene turned. Kaysen stood with his backpack on. You're bleeding, he said. She looked down. Her palm had split a little from gripping too tight. She hadn't noticed. Get in the car. They didn't speak on the drive. Selene dropped him off 2 blocks from school. He didn't ask why. When she turned the car back around, she didn't go home. She went to the gym. It was still early. Empty. The side door was open. Cleaning buckets out front. The scent of bleach and sweat mixed in the air. Liren was inside, wiping the mats. He looked up when she entered. Morning. You're early. Got something to ask you. He nodded. Shoot. You train under Calvez? He stopped wiping. Didn't turn around. Silence stretched. Then, who told you that? Selene dropped the envelope on the floor between them. Liren turned slowly. Read the name. His face didn't change. That's old history, he said. You never mentioned it. No reason to. Selene's tone sharpened. Unless you had one. Liren set the rag down. You think I brought you in for what? Some setup? You didn't bring me in. I walked in. Same difference. No, not anymore. He stepped closer, still calm, but his eyes had shifted. You think I've got some beef with Calvez's legacy? You trained with him, then you kept it hidden. Because I left. I saw where it was going. Or you helped push it there. His voice dropped. You don't know what he became. Selene stiffened. I know what he taught me. He changed. He got paranoid. Violent. Turned people against each other. Or someone else did that for him. Believe what you want, Liren said. She took a step forward. I will. He held her gaze for a long time. Then he smiled, not warmth, but weariness. I didn't send them. Doesn't matter. They know where I am now. Maybe because you showed up rolling students like ghosts in the wind. You think word wouldn't travel? Selene turned. You hear from them again, don't pretend you didn't. Then she left. The city outside had changed. Or maybe just sharpened. Everything felt louder. Edges closer. She drove downtown. Parked on the roof of a cracked garage. Pulled out her phone. No recent calls. No texts. She scrolled through old contacts. Stopped on a name she hadn't touched in 5 years. Galen. She tapped. It rang once. Then disconnected. No voicemail. Burner number. She texted anyway. Need to talk. Quiet place. Not here. The reply came 30 seconds later. Tonight. Mesa View. After hours. Come alone. She didn't ask who sent it. Galen didn't reply if he didn't want to. Mesa View was a derelict office complex on the city's south edge. Empty since a flood ruined the foundation. Now it was unofficial neutral ground. That night, Selene left Kaysen with a neighbor. Said nothing more than late errand. She drove out of the city limits. Pulled into the cracked parking lot. Wind rustled dead grass through the fence. One light still flickered near the back door. She stepped inside. Footsteps echoed on broken tile. She waited by the stairwell. Galen appeared minutes later. Same as always. Faded leather jacket. Missing finger on his left hand. You made noise, he said. Too much. They made the first move. They're testing waters. Selene handed him the envelope. He scanned it. Grimaced. They're trying to draw you into it. Liren's part of it? Galen shrugged. Maybe. Maybe just a lever. Either way, he's not clean. Selene's voice hardened. Who's the target? Galen hesitated. Then, Kaysen. Selene didn't move. But something behind her eyes cracked. They know you have a son, Galen continued. They know he's your tether. How? They followed you. Maybe through Liren. Maybe through someone else. But it's out there now. She stepped back. This isn't just a warning. This is bait. Galen nodded. They want you to come in. Or they'll come harder. She turned toward the door. Then I'll end it first. You sure you're ready to do what that means? She didn't answer. Outside, the wind had picked up. Clouds cracked like bruises across the sky. She drove home fast. Checked every mirror, every shadow. Kaysen was asleep on the couch. Safe. For now. She stood by the window, hand hovering near the curtain. Then she saw it. A car. Parked across the street. No lights. No movement. She moved to the back. Another car. Same model. She didn't wake Kaysen. She grabbed her go bag from the hall closet, taped under the false bottom of the drawer. 2 passports. Cash. A flash drive. Her old ID card, black belt registry under her real name. She thought she'd never use it again. She thought wrong. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. 1-word message. Run. She didn't hesitate. Grabbed Kaysen. Shook him awake. Mom. No time. Get up. Now. She pulled him to the back. Out through the alley. Boots echoed behind them. Voices. Foreign language. Sharp. Commands. She shoved Kaysen behind a dumpster. Her body shifted. Calm. Still. The first man rounded the corner. She moved before he could speak. 3 moves. Wrist trap. Elbow lock. Neck break. Silence. Another came. She used the body as cover. Swept his legs. Slammed him against the wall. Kaysen stared. Shocked. Selene grabbed his arm. Move. They ran. 2 blocks. No talking. Finally ducked into a shuttered laundromat. Barricaded the back door with a vending machine. Kaysen panted. What's happening? They're not after me anymore. Then who? You. Why? She didn't answer. Instead, she pulled out the flash drive. Slotted it into her burner phone. A folder opened. Labeled, Project Hourglass. Inside, images of her. Kaysen. Dates. Locations. One labeled Phase 3, Incubation. Selene froze. Her son. He wasn't the weakness. He was the reason. The project hadn't ended with her leaving Maragua. It had followed her here. Kaysen looked over her shoulder. Mom, what is that? Selene stared at the screen and whispered, You're not just my son. Footsteps outside. Voices. Doors rattling. Then the sound of metal scraping open. They found them. Kaysen's voice trembled. What do we do? Selene pulled him behind a washing machine, looked into his eyes, and said the thing she swore she'd never say again. Follow everything I do. No questions. Outside, the front door burst open. Men in black moved in. Selene stood up into the shadows and vanished. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. They stormed the laundromat with precision. Tactical movement. Formation. 3 through the front, 2 from the rear. Flashlights swept the empty aisles of machines. But Selene was already moving. Silently, she darted behind one, using the rhythm of the rotating drums to mask her steps. Her breathing was steady, controlled. Kaysen crouched low, eyes wide, hands trembling. She signaled with 2 fingers. He nodded once. They moved together, years of instinct, discipline, unspoken trust. The first man passed them, gun drawn, tactical vest, no insignia. Selene took his ankle, twisted. He hit the floor with a sickening crunch. Before he could scream, she crushed his throat with the heel of her palm. No sound, no hesitation. 2 more appeared down the corridor. Kaysen slipped behind the detergent shelf. Selene sprinted into motion, low, silent. Grabbed a loose metal pipe. Swung hard. The first went down. The second turned to fire. She twisted his wrist, redirected the shot. The bullet shattered a dryer door. He screamed. She didn't stop. Elbow. Knee. Throat. He collapsed. Only one left. Footsteps echoed toward the rear. She grabbed Kaysen. Out the back. Now. They darted into the alley, weaving between trash bins and broken pallets. Behind them, the last man called into a radio. They're mobile. South Alley. Selene turned and hurled a bottle from the dumpster. It shattered against his face. Glass embedded in his cheek. He fell, writhing. They kept running. Block after block. No headlights behind them. No drones overhead. Just silence, broken by Kaysen's ragged breath. They ducked into an abandoned loading dock. Kaysen collapsed against the wall. I don't understand, he gasped. Why are they coming after me? Selene crouched beside him, pulled the flash drive back out, inserted it into a second burner. This time, she opened a different folder. Phase 1, donors. Phase 2, embryonic transfer. Phase 3, incubation, successful subjects. File number 017, Kaysen morale. Kaysen stared. What does that mean? Selene closed her eyes. I didn't carry you. Not the way most mothers do. He blinked. What? They took my DNA. My sequence. Combined it with someone else's. Who? Selene didn't speak. Instead, she tapped the file. An image opened. A younger version of herself. With a man. Cold, intense eyes. Name blacked out. She whispered. I ran before they could raise you in the program. Kaysen backed away. So I'm a project? You're more than that. But you lead. To protect you. They know where I go to school. They've known for weeks. Silence. Then, a sharp buzz from the phone. New file incoming. Selene's eyes narrowed. Unknown signal detected. Tracing source. Too late. The phone flashed white, then sparked. Fried from the inside. Kaysen jumped. They found us again. Selene tossed the smoking phone. Grabbed his hand. We can't run anymore. Then what? We fight. They went underground. Literally. A contact met them at the edge of the old tunnel lines. Back when trains used to run west of the city. Now it was just rust and rats and forgotten things. The contact was a woman, tall, quiet, half her face covered in burned scars. She went by Thay. Used to be in it, she said. Till I got burned out. You sure you want back in? Selene didn't blink. I never left. I just got quieter. Thay nodded. Then come on. They followed her deep into the dark. Lights flickered along the old walls. Names etched into the concrete. Ghosts of past lives. At the end of the tunnel was a door. Steel. Reinforced. They knocked once. Then twice more. A panel slid open. A man's voice grunted. Name. Calva's line. Legacy code, Orin. Clearance Whitefire. The door opened. Inside, a war room. Screens. Maps. Surveillance grids. People. All off-grid. Selene stepped forward. They turned when they saw her. A few nodded. One whispered, she's back. They leaned in. You want to end this? It starts here. But you won't like what we found. Selene waited. They pulled up footage. Surveillance from the gym. From Liren's office. Weeks old. Audio matched to facial scans. In one, Liren was speaking to someone via secure line. Not just reporting. Giving orders. They froze the frame. Zoomed. The man on the other side of the call. Selene's stomach dropped. Not just any figure. It was Galen. Kaysen gasped. That's the guy who warned you. No, Selene whispered. That's the one who set us up. The betrayal was complete. The warning. The meat. The data, all planted. Galen had manipulated her. Fed her half-truths. Driven her into the open. They confirmed it. He wanted you scared. Running. Leaving a trail. Why? Because the real program isn't just about you. Or your son. Selene's voice was low. Then what? They're making more. They're not incubating test subjects anymore. They're cloning you. Selene's world tilted. No. They nodded grimly. They already have 3. Footage rolled. A lab. 3 isolation chambers. In each, a figure. Female. Strong. Hair tied. Face nearly identical. One looked at the camera. Eyes pure black. No soul. Selene stepped back. Shaken. Where is this? Not local. Off-grid. But we got coordinates. You want to end this, we go now. Selene looked at Kaysen. He nodded. I'm with you. They moved fast. Black SUV. Drones for cover. They armed them with stun rounds and neutralizer gas. The facility was hidden in the mountains. Snow-capped. Remote. No signs. But the moment they breached the compound, resistance hit hard. Men in white suits. Night vision. Biometric armor. Selene moved through them like lightning. Every strike precise. Brutal. Kaysen followed. Clumsy but learning. She covered him. He covered her. They reached the central vault. They hacked the door. Inside, the pods. 3 versions of Selene. Unfinished. Unstable. One opened its eyes. And spoke. You left us. Selene stepped forward. You're not me. We are what you were supposed to become. The clone moved fast. Too fast. Selene barely blocked the blow. It rattled her bones. They fought. Perfect mirror. Every move anticipated. Every tactic reversed. Kaysen watched, helpless. Until he saw the console. A line of code. Override, genetic origin. Subject Alpha, command lock. He ran to the console. Typed something from memory. Something he saw on the flash drive. The pod lights flickered. The clone froze. Twitched. Glitched. Selene swept her leg. Dropped her. Another came alive. Charged. Kaysen entered another override. Deactivate. Echo Mirror 3. Pod collapsed. Sparks flew. They pulled them out. Facilities rigged. We have 60 seconds. They ran. Explosions behind them. Ice cracking. Fire licking the walls. They made it to the extraction point just as the roof caved in. Helicopter blades chopped the night. They flew out in silence. Kaysen finally spoke. So now what? Selene looked at the horizon. Now we stay hidden. And we teach others to fight. Like you. She smiled. No. Better than me. 6 weeks later. A new gym opened. Different city. Different name. Selene stood at the mat's edge. Watching young students train. Kaysen helped wrap a student's hands. No belts on display. No ranks shouted. Only movement. Focus. Breath. In the corner of the room hung one photo. A black belt. Untied. Framed. Below it, etched in steel. Strength isn't what you show. It's what you survive.